Plaintiff Lillian Tussey says 2 years ago, Lillian brought her daughter to Judge Mathis for a dose of tough love. And ever since then, she's turned her life around. However, Lillian's daughter is married to the defendant and caught in the middle of a dispute because he owes Lillian for the balance due on a car. Defendant Jeremiah Gorham and his wife Danielle admit that Danielle was appalled with her behavior in Judge Mathis's courtroom 2 years ago, and since then she's completely changed her ways. Jeremiah insists he worked off his debt to Lillian for the car, and he wants to be paid for his services, so he's countersuing.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated. We'll start with you.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, before I begin, there's something I have to tell you. I have to thank you. I actually was in your courtroom 2 years ago, and I know you don't remember me, but I'll never forget you. I came to see your court 2 years ago when my daughter Danielle, who is Jerry's wife, went through some hard times. She went through some period of, she had issues with running around and having back-to-back DWIs and almost lost her car and spent some jail time. And I brought her to you because she was in some serious need of some tough love. And you showed me how to do it. You showed me.
And it obviously didn't work.
Actually, it did.
She's over there again. She's over in the same spot she was in.
You know, I will have to tell you, I'll have to correct you with all due respect. Okay. She's not in the same spot. She's actually caught in the middle. And that's part of why we're here. She actually did a lot of growing. She did a lot. And our amending absolutely happened because of you. Because you didn't only show her what to do, you taught me. Yeah. You taught me that I enabled her. And the two things that you told me that I'll never forget, and that she's heard me say repeatedly, you told me not to give her another dime. That's right. And you told me not to buy her a bottle of milk.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, when Jerry and Danielle have been back and forth since they were 15 and 17, and there was a time when I couldn't stand the sight of Jerry and he wasn't welcome in my home. Jerry took her off to Seattle. After I told her not to go, he left her there. I gotta tell you, I gotta kudos to Danielle. Okay. When they went to Washington and he left her there, she made him call me. And she made him call me and said, you tell my mother that everything she thought about you was right. And you know what? I'm going to give him credit now. He did. Okay. He called me, he manned up, and he said, you were right about me. And I'm not staying here. I'm leaving. Your daughter is on her own.
Have you seen progress in his change?
I have seen a tremendous progress.
Good.
And the main reason we're here.
Well, I'm going to take credit for him too then.
Well, the main reason that we're here is I need him to understand that he doesn't get a bottle of milk either.
There you go. All right. Now, you say that the young man has changed his ways. I guess he still has a ways to go because you're suing him about stealing the car, aren't you?
He didn't steal a car. He just refuses to finish paying for it.
Oh, okay. Let me allow them to give some background.
The biggest thing for me was actually seeing my behavior kind of on an outsider's point of view, because even though, yes, it was me, it wasn't me actually in the act of it. So once I seen that, I realized really that what I was doing by my mother was totally wrong, and not just to her, that I was taking advantage and that I needed to change my ways. And since then, I have made it my every effort to go out of my way to do anything and everything for her and expect absolutely nothing in return.
Oh, great. Young man?
Your Honor, I love Lillian very much. She obviously gave birth to and raised my wife, who I adore with every bit of my being. We've had a lot of ups and downs through our relationship. Has struggled as teenagers, as any teenage relationship might. We had a daughter who passed away a few months later. Put a lot of strain on our relationship. I'm sure you can understand. We've grown up since then. Had a family, gotten married. I've got a picture of my daughter and our family.
Let me see. This is...
Her name is Jessica.
Oh, what a beautiful family picture.
She is my pride.
Well, this certainly is a very fulfilling moment, because first thing is that he loves you very much.
And I love him very much.
Whatever this car deal that we're working on today won't interfere with the relationship. So glad to hear that. You all won't be fussing and fighting and cutting and shooting over some money. You'll bring it here. And that's part of the objective of this court show, is that I want to make sure people recognize, the viewers, that you don't have to cut and fight and shoot. You can just take a person right to small claims court. You don't have to retaliate personally against people and go to jail and prison yourselves. All right, let's get started on the balance of a car. Why are you suing him about this?
When Danny and Jerry got back together just before the marriage, I told her, you're on your own. I'm not giving you a bottle of milk. I ain't giving you a dime. You're doing it. And that's when they grew up. When she found out she was pregnant with Jessica, we knew that she needed a vehicle that was going to be reliable. And they were pretty much counting on the buses and friends and whatnot. And Jerry came to me because I had a 2002 Camaro that was my mint condition baby.
All right.
And he asked me would I sell him the car. And I was very adamant about that. He understood that I was selling it to him because I was done with giving away bottles of milk. Trust me, I've used this line many times.
So what was the agreement?
Jerry came to me. I agreed to sell it to him for $5,500, which is well below the book at that time. And his grandmother either loaned him or gave him $500, and that was his down payment. The agreement was $125 a month until it was paid, no interest.
When was that to begin?
That actually began in January of 2009. I received consistent payments all the way through June. 1 month actually having received 2 payments because he was really putting his best foot forward.
All right.
Then he became a victim of the economy and lost his job. He got laid off. I absolutely respected that. I told him, let's get you, as soon as you get working again, we'll resume the payments. Well, Jerry ended up going back to work again several months later, and Jerry got an even better job.
Okay.
And to this day,
how long ago did he get that job?
It's probably been close to a year.
How many payments has he paid since then?
None.
All right. The balance is?
The balance is $4,140. His total that he did, in fact, pay is $1,360. And I have a breakdown, Your Honor,
all right, let me
if
see
you'd
it.
like to
Sir,
have that.
What do you want to tell me?
Your Honor, while I was out of work, I did a lot of work for Lillian. I did yard work for her. I've actually got some pictures of some gravel that I spread out for her.
All right. And your defense sounds like it's a trade-off for work you've done?
No.
Absolutely.
Your balance?
Absolutely not
What
true.
work have you done?
I spread out a lot of gravel in Lillian's yard. I laid some ceramic tile.
4,000 for spreading out gravel.
Yeah, I need to
true.
work. I need to work for you. Get a bucket of gravel, throw it out. 4,000. Is that all you did, sir?
I actually finished half of her yard. It was left
gravel?
unfinished. I also laid ceramic tile in her shower, laundry room, foyer, and kitchen.
He didn't lay the
Okay,
tile.
did
He
you
did
all
the
agree
gravel.
on an amount that would be deducted?
I have paid, I've worked off debts owed to Lillian in the past. When I was 17, I actually wrecked a Neon that was in her name. And I had worked off
You
that
do
debt.
her in on cars.
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I had worked off that debt. I didn't see why this would be any different. I did work for her.
Oh, I can see
How much?
My work is absolutely not free.
How much then?
Oh, you're kidding me.
At least the amount owed on the car.
Okay, so you don't have a specific amount.
I do not.
Was there an agreement for a specific amount?
There was not.
Was there an agreement at all?
No, sir.
Okay, you can only enforce something if there was an agreement. You just can't say, okay, I owe you money. Well, let me go pick up around the yard without you telling me that that's the deal. And then you come back with a bucket of garbage and say, hey, I don't know you no more. I picked up all this garbage. Now the person has to say, you all have to have an agreement that if you go and pick up the garbage around the house, I'll deduct the 1,000 or we'll eliminate the debt altogether. So we're stuck with the same deal you all started with because she never agreed to change it. Do you want to say something, young lady?
Right now, I am just pretty much stuck between the two of them, and I want the.
Why?
Why? Because on one hand, I have my mother who, was there to help us out and is still helping us out with our daughter.
Right is right. You shouldn't be stuck in the middle if one person is right and the other is wrong. Do you know who's right or wrong? Because you can tell mom, you're not being fair. Or you can say to your husband, I don't think this is right. So you're out of it. You all do what you want with each other, but I'm telling you what I think. Pardon?
We have had multiple arguments as far as him paying back the debt to my mom because he feels that the
you just
work
say it one time and you say, I'm through with it. And then he responds and says, he might say it in a heated tone, you're sticking up for your mother. Just be quiet. Let him say his piece. And then, okay. All right, I just wanted to give you my opinion, and I hear your opinion, so can we leave it alone and you and mom deal with each other? That's what you do. There's nothing to argue about the next time. So you don't have to be stuck in the middle. $4,140 is your unpaid wages counterclaim.
Well, she's not giving
throwing that gravel out there, right?
Yes, Your Honor. And ceramic tile as well.
Towel
I have pictures of ceramic tile and gravel if you'd like to see. And like I said, Your Honor, I have worked to pay off debts owed to Lillian in the past. I think if she doesn't want to credit this towards
let's hear from her on this work.
Please.
Ma'am, what do you say? This is actually, a lot of work, and it's very nice work, quite frankly.
Yeah, and it's not 100% Jerry's work. In fact, it's not even 50% Jerry's work. What percent? I would probably say 20%.
All right. Did you intend to compensate him?
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. Because as Jerry said earlier, when he was 17 years old, him and his cousin took my daughter's car and wrecked it. Car was in my name, loan was in my name. It was upside down, and I ended up paying $3,000. Now, this is important for you to understand. Danny's dad passed away in 2006. And when Rick passed away, Jerry came to me after the funeral and said, I know I owe you that $3,000. Jerry was again estranged because he's gone back and forth into our lives. And he came to pay respects, and I give him credit for that because he wasn't welcome in my home. But he came to me as a man and said, I know I owe you this $3,000, and I know I was supposed to pay $75 a month and never did.
Why didn't you sue him for that, ma'am?
Because
I didn't sue him for
because
that?
I didn't intend to. Because I told him, you know what, if I ever need you, I know you're there for me. And as far as I'm concerned, I forgave that.
So you think you can just unilaterally once again determine what it is he should do to wipe out that $3,000 that you said he'll always be there for you about? Did you regard it as a gift, or did you regard it as a deduction on the debt?
She just said she needed the work done, and I went and did it, Your Honor.
All right. Next time, make sure you have some type of agreement with your mother-in-law, because you never know what mood they're in that day. Daughter might have told her you didn't come home on time. All right, fine. He's going to have to pay me my money then.
He called me a monster-in-law.
We never know how a mother-in-law is assessing her debts. But she has decided she wants her money, and she's not paying you for the work that you did. Judgment for the plaintiff, 4140, and I'll have to dismiss your claim because there was no agreement regarding the wages. Have a good day, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're going to put this behind us, and we're just going to all love each other, and we're going to get that beautiful little baby girl that's my granddaughter, and we're just going to squeeze her unanimously.
I'm just glad that all of this is going to be resolved, put behind us, and I won't have to hear about it anymore.
You know I love you.